Very good evening. I'm Ashwarya Kapoor with you. Welcome to News Tonight on Rajya Sabha Television, where we get you a complete roundup of the day's top stories from India and across the world. The day's biggest story now. Prime Minister Narendra Modi held his fourth interaction with the chief ministers of all states on Monday to discuss the situation arising out of the COVID-19 pandemic and the plan ahead to tackle it.
The Prime Minister said that the lockdown in view of the COVID-19 pandemic has yielded positive results as the country has managed to save thousands of lives in the past 1.5 months. He added that due to the timely measures, India has been able to protect many people. He, however, forewarned that the danger of the virus is far from over and constant vigilance is of paramount importance. Pointing out that the country has seen 2 lockdowns till now, the Prime Minister said that we have to think of the way ahead. He said that as per experts, the impact of the coronavirus will remain visible in the coming months. Reiterating the mantra of Do Gaz Duri, he said that masks and face covers will become part of our lives in the days ahead. He added that under the circumstances, everyone's aim must be rapid response. The Prime Minister also said that we have to give importance to the economy as well as continue to fight against COVID-19. He further said we have to be brave and bring in reforms that touch the lives of common citizens. He also highlighted the importance of states enforcing guidelines strictly in the red zones. States, said the PM, must make efforts to convert red zones into orange and then into green zones. Home Minister Amit Shah, who was also present during the video conference, reaffirmed the need to enforce lockdown so that maximum lives are saved.
आज माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने सभी राज्यों के मुख्यमंत्रियों के साथ वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंस के जरिए बातचीत भी की। उन्होंने राज्य के मुख्यमंत्री से कहा कि वह सजग रहें, सचेत रहें। रेड जोन और ऑरेंज जोन में पड़ने वाले सभी जिलों में सख्ती रखते हुए चेन ऑफ ट्रांसमिशन ऑफ वायरस इसको ब्रेक किया जाए। ग्रीन जोन में जिला एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन सर्वेलेंस पर फोकस रखते हुए अलर्ट रहे ताकि उस जिले में यह संकट प्रवेश न करे। में माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने यह भी कहा कि इस समय में अन्य आरोग्य सुविधाएं जैसे कि डायलिसिस, अन्य बीमारियां, उनके ट्रीटमेंट आदि में भी कोई ढिलाई ना होने दें। परंपरागत मेडिकल व्यवस्था सुचारू रूप से चलती रहे। रेड जोन से ऑरेंज जोन, ऑरेंज जोन से ग्रीन जोन में जिले को ट्रांसफॉर्म करना ही हमारा मंत्र होना चाहिए।
And during the 3-hour-long video conference, the Chief Ministers praised Prime Minister Narendra Modi for his leadership during this period of crisis. And there were also suggestions about how to address the economic challenge and also ways to further boost health infrastructure in the country. Let's take a listen.
एक वेळी आमकां डायरेक्ट उलोवपाची संद नाशिल्ली कायदूय बी फक्त 9 सिटींग सुमार आशिल्ली तर आमचे रिप्रेझेंटेशन आमी धाडून दितले आमचें म्हणणें आसा की लॉकडावन एक्सटेंड करचो म्हटल्यार इकॉनॉमिकल हे जे आसा एक्टिविटीज जे आसा विदीन द स्टेट इट शूड कंटिन्यू बॉर्डर सील जावपाचें बॉर्डर सील उरच्यो देर इज नो ट्रेन नो प्लेन नो पब्लिक
और हम सब लोग बहुत सौभाग्यशाली हैं कि हमें नरेंद्र भाई मोदी जी के रूप में एक ऐसा यशस्वी प्रधानमंत्री मिले हैं जो बहुत दूर दृष्टि रखते हैं और उसी का परिणाम है कि इस कोरोना रूपी जो महामारी है इससे हम बहुत हद तक अपने आप को बचा पाए हैं, क्योंकि माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने जो लॉकडाउन लेने का जो फैसला लिया बहुत ही अच्छा फैसला और बहुत दूरदर्शी फैसला था, क्योंकि दुनिया के अन्य देशों को आप देखें तो वहाँ हालात बदतर हैं, लेकिन हमारे यहाँ हमारी सरकार केंद्र की प्रोएक्टिव है हमारी सरकार, और इसलिए परिणाम यह है कि हम कहीं ना कहीं अब कोरोना को पराजित करने के कागार पर हैं।
You see, in this disease, we are always saying lockdown, social distance. We have to maintain. It is the only way, I tell you, and COVID test. And in the two things we are doing, we are on the job. And as you know, our Honorable Chief Minister has announced, if you are all right, you save your health and save others.
ये जो 3 जोन की बात होती है, ग्रीन जोन, ऑरेंज जोन, रेड जोन, तो इसके बारे में भी उनकी राय जो थी वो यही थी कि ये फ्लूइड है। जो ग्रीन जोन है ये ऑरेंज बन सकता है, जो ऑरेंज जोन है ये रेड बन सकता है। रेड के अंदर स्थिति और ख़राब हो सकती है। तो ये सोचना कि हम ग्रीन है तो अब कभी कोरोना का प्रभाव ही नहीं आएगा, ये एक गलत सोचना होगा। तो इन जोन्स में भी इनको आगे हमको जीवन शैली कैसे अपनानी है, उसके लिए मॉडल तैयार करने का उपयोग करना है।
देखिए, फिर भी हमारे हिंदुस्तान में 130 करोड़ जहां आबादी है, फिर भी हम जरूर कहेंगे कि हिंदुस्तान की सरकार, हिंदुस्तान की राज्य की सरकार, हमारे जो डॉक्टर्स, हमारे सारे प्रतिष्ठान बड़े अच्छा काम किए हैं। नहीं तो जब हम अमेरिका को देखते हैं, यूरोप को देखते हैं, तब पता चलते हैं हम उन लोगों से बहुत आगे निकल चुके हैं। और अगले दिन ये हिंदुस्तान एक मॉडल कंट्री की हैसियत से उभरने की बड़ी संभावना पैदा हो चुके हैं।
And the government on Monday asserted that the supply and logistics chain is being well maintained during the lockdown. In a detailed presentation, the chairman of the Empowered Group 5 listed key indicators to show that the availability of essential food items has improved consistently. He also underscored the important role played by the Indian Railways for the movement of essentials across the country. Here is a detailed report.
The government on Monday praised the efforts of various government institutions that have been working round the clock to ensure the availability of essential items. Parameshwaran Iyer, chairman of the Empowered Group 5, named the Indian Railways, India Post, Indian Air Force and Udan flights for their exceptional efforts in ensuring that the supply chain stayed intact. He mentioned that by 25th April, the supply of essentials by trucks had increased to 76% as opposed to 46% on 30th March.
This has been a very, very successful operation at great effort by the railways. So 109 timetable parcel trains over 58 routes are running by the railways. They're carrying more than 400 rakes day and night, carrying food grains and other essential items. The IRCTC is serving 2.5 lakh meals, and they are willing to take this up even further across all 4 railway zones. 392 Lifeline Udan flights by the airlines are carrying 700 plus metric tons of essential cargo operated till date, and this is continuing. They are operating nationally and internationally for the supply chain. Medicines, 100 plus metric tons of medicines have been delivered by India Post. They're also taking food packets, and payment and DBT worth over 730 crores have been made by India Post.
Iyer also gave credit to the government's collaborations with NGOs and the private sector to provide 1.5 crore cooked meals on a daily basis.
They are seeing a consistent positive trend. If you look at prices of top, tomato, onion and potato, they have been largely stable during the lockdown. If you look at Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana and the National Food Security Act, under which 5 kilograms of wheat and rice and 1 kilo pulses have been distributed on a large scale, about 85 lakh metric tons which are allocated per month for a total of 70 crore beneficiaries. This has been done. Cooked meals, this is extremely important, largely due to government and NGO partners and industry. This is a huge effort. आप देखेंगे कि 1.5 करोड़ लोगों को daily cooked meals दिया जा रहा है, and this has been going on for a long time, for the last month or so plus. So this has been a huge effort, a collaboration between government, between the NGOs, the private sector. Every district has a nodal officer to coordinate with NGOs. एक district का nodal NGO भी है, and they are fulfilling this task as per the requirement on a daily basis.
The Home Ministry informed that 80% of the mandis in the country had started operations.
मनरेगा के तहत भी कार्यों ने गति पाई है। वाटर कंजर्वेशन और इरिगेशन जैसे लार्ज कम्युनिटी असेट्स पर भी मनरेगा के तहत काम शुरू हो गया है और 2 करोड़ से ज्यादा श्रमिकों को रोजगार प्राप्त हुआ है। सर्वे के अनुसार लगभग 60% फूड प्रोसेसिंग यूनिट्स ऑपरेशनल हो गई हैं। स्पेशल इकोनॉमिक जोन्स में 2825 इकाइयां और इसके अलावा 350 एक्सपोर्ट ओरिएंटेड यूनिट्स भी क्रियाशील हो चुकी हैं।
Meanwhile, the Health Ministry said that at 22.17%, India's recovery rate from COVID-19 is improving. In the last 24 hours, 1,396 positive cases were reported. There were 48 fatalities and 381 recoveries.
16 डिस्ट्रिक्ट हैं देश के जहां पर कि पिछले 28 दिनों से कोई केस रिपोर्ट नहीं हुआ है। इन डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में 3 नए डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स ऐड हुए हैं। अगर आप देखें 24 अप्रैल से अब तक में, वह है गोंदिया महाराष्ट्र में, देवनगिरी कर्नाटक में, लखीसराय बिहार में। इसी के साथ ही जो डिस्ट्रिक्ट पहले 28 दिन की, जिसमें कि पहले केस आए लेकिन 28 दिन से केसेस नहीं आए थे, इससे पहले रिपोर्ट हुई, उनमें से 2 डिस्ट्रिक्ट में नए फ्रेश केसेस भी आए हैं। वह है पीलीभीत उत्तर प्रदेश में और एसपीएस डिस्ट्रिक्ट पंजाब के अंदर। टोटल ऐसे 85 डिस्ट्रिक्ट हैं 25 स्टेट्स और यूनियन टेरिटरीज में, जहां पर कि पिछले 14 दिनों से कोई केस रिपोर्ट नहीं हुआ है।
Meanwhile, in a press release, the ICMR on Monday clarified that no COVID-19 test kit has been procured at a price of 4,500 rupees. The medical body said the kits are being bought at the rates of 740 to 1,150 for RT-PCR and 528 to 795 for a rapid test. The clarification came over Congress leader Udit Raj's claims that the central government had purchased COVID-19 test kits at an inflated price. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, India's novel coronavirus cases neared 28,000 on Monday. Maharashtra, Gujarat and Delhi account for a little more than 50% of all the confirmed cases so far in the country.
Interministerial central teams on Monday visited places in Chennai and Hyderabad to review the COVID-19 situation. In West Bengal, the IMCT visited a COVID-19 hospital in East Midnapur to take stock of the preventive measures being followed. Confirmed cases touched 8,068 in Maharashtra, the highest number of confirmed cases in the country. Maharashtra also had the highest tally of deaths on Sunday. Gujarat became the second state to cross 3,000 COVID-19 cases, with over 220 people testing positive for the novel coronavirus on Sunday. Gujarat's COVID-19 count has now risen to 3,301.
एक तो कि हमारे यहाँ जो डिस्चार्ज होने की संख्या और जिसकी गति है थोड़ी कम है, और वैसे मृत्यु जो कोविड की चिकित्सा दरमियान जो मृत्यु होते हैं उनकी भी संख्या थोड़ी ज़्यादा है। तो इसकी जब हमने तज्ञों और जो निष्णात लोग हैं डॉक्टर्स उनसे चर्चा की तो बताया गया है कि 2 प्रकार के इस वायरस के स्ट्रेन हैं। एक एस स्ट्रेन जो उतना घातक नहीं है और दूसरा है एक एल स्ट्रेन जिसकी ज़्यादा एक विरुलेंट जिसकी असर ज़्यादा होती है। तो इसकी भी एक अनुसंधान रिसर्च हमारे साइंटिस्ट कर रहे हैं और माना जा रहा है कि शायद इस स्ट्रेन गुजरात में है, इस वजह से ये थोड़ा इस तरह से मृत्यु के अंक भी बढ़ रहे हैं।
Delhi also saw a sharp spike in COVID-19 cases in the last 24 hours. Total number of confirmed cases in the national capital climbed to 2,918. However, according to the state government, Delhi also registered one of the best recovery rates in the country.
कि जिन लोगों का दिल्ली में रहने का घर नहीं है, जो देश के दूसरे हिस्सों से आए हैं, कहीं और से आए हुए हैं, तो उनको रहने की जगह तो देनी पड़ेगी ना। हम उनको वहाँ पर रख रहे हैं, खाने का इंतजाम किया, रहने का इंतजाम किया। 3 तारीख तक तो हमारी जिम्मेदारी है ही। उसके बाद केंद्र सरकार जैसे डायरेक्शन दी करेंगे। अभी तक टोटल 97 रेड जोन बन चुके हैं, जिसमें से एक को हम हटा चुके हैं रेड से, ग्रीन हो चुका है एक तो, और ऑरेंज में जो हुए उनकी लिस्ट आपको दे दी जाएगी।
Another hotspot of the coronavirus infection, Madhya Pradesh, crossed 2,000 COVID-19 cases. In Rajasthan, the number of infected persons has gone up to 2,221, with 36 new persons found positive on Monday. With over 30 positive cases emerging in the last 24 hours, Kanpur is now a major COVID-19 hotspot in Uttar Pradesh after Agra. The total number of cases in the state stood at 1,868. Meanwhile, the King George Medical University in Uttar Pradesh became the first government hospital in the country to successfully launch the plasma therapy treatment for COVID-19 patients. Kerala, which reported the first COVID-19 patient in India, has shown the best recovery rate in the country. Out of the 458 coronavirus cases, 338 people have recovered from the deadly virus. Other states where the cases have crossed the 1,000 mark are Tamil Nadu with 1,885, Telangana with 1,002 cases, and Andhra Pradesh with 1,097 cases. Meanwhile, around 391 children who were stuck in Rajasthan's Kota due to the lockdown were brought back to Assam today. All of them are quarantined at a government facility. Meanwhile, West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee said her government is doing everything possible to bring back people who are stuck in different parts of the country. COVID-19 cases in the state are also on the rise. The total tally in the state is 649. The Punjab government has arranged 80 special buses to transport 3,500 stranded devotees in Maharashtra's Nanded district.
And on to some other news. The Reserve Bank of India on Monday announced a 50,000 crore rupees liquidity facility for mutual funds. The step is intended to ease liquidity pressure on mutual funds. It comes just days after Franklin Templeton Mutual Fund decided to close 6 debt schemes. An RBI statement said the current lockdown has heightened volatility in capital markets besides imposing liquidity strain on mutual funds. It said the redemption pressures related to closure of some debt mutual funds intensified the liquidity strain. But the RBI clarified that at this stage, the stress is confined to the high-risk debt mutual fund segment while the larger industry remains liquid. Further, it reiterated that it will take whatever steps are necessary to mitigate the economic impact of COVID-19 and preserve financial stability. Franklin Templeton shut down debt schemes like the Low Duration Fund, Dynamic Accrual Fund, Credit Risk Fund, Short-Term Income Plan, Ultra Short Bond Fund, and Income Opportunities Fund. Total assets under management of these funds is 25,000 crore rupees. The RBI intervention follows concerns that the shutting down of the schemes could set off a redemption crisis in the nation's asset management industry. Alright, let's get a perspective. Kriti Mishra, our colleague, is now joining us from the National Capital for more details on this story. Kriti, very good evening. Kriti, now the RBI has announced 50,000 crore rupees liquidity support to mutual funds. So how will banks use the funds under the scheme?
Well, Aishwarya, the volatility in the capital markets after COVID-19 pandemic exerted pressure on mutual funds, which heightened after the redemption pressures related to closure of some of the debt mutual funds that we saw recently. Now, the stress was confined to the high-risk debt mutual fund segment only. The funds now availed under the scheme will be used by the banks exclusively for meeting the liquidity requirements of mutual funds by extending loans and undertaking purchase of repos against the collateral of investment-grade corporate bonds or even commercial papers or debentures, and also the certificates of deposit held by the mutual funds. Banks can avail 90-day funds from the RBI's repo window, and the scheme will be available from 27th of April to 11th of May. Back to Aishwarya.
Indeed, it is a great move by the RBI. And Kriti, how far do you think this RBI's move will go in boosting investors' confidence?
Well, while most of majority fund houses said that the debt schemes are fairly liquid at this point in time, but if the situation worsens in the wake of COVID-19 pandemic, then serious measures would be required. Now, today's decision of RBI would send optimistic signals to millions of retail investors who have been shifting to the capital markets through mutual funds from traditional avenues of gold, property, or even bank deposits. More importantly, Aishwarya, the RBI has on more than one occasion said that it remains vigilant and will take whatever steps necessary to mitigate the economic impact of the coronavirus outbreak and preserve financial stability. That has made investors elated particularly. Over to you.
All right. Kriti, thank you so much for all those updates on that story. Thank you so much. And on to some other news. The government has rejected the recommendation of taxing the super rich to pay for the economic fallout of the coronavirus pandemic. 50 officers had suggested raising the highest tax rate for people with the annual income of above 1 crore to 40% and also proposed the reintroduction of the wealth tax. The report was made after CBDT sought ideas on ways to revive the economy and improve revenue collection. However, in a tweet late on Sunday, the Income Tax Department said the report did not reflect the official views of the CBDT and the Finance Ministry. The CBDT has also initiated an inquiry against IRS officers for the unsolicited report. The government also strongly refuted some media reports over a proposal to reduce the age of retirement of government employees to 50 years. Denying the rumours, Minister of State for Personnel Jitendra Singh said there is no move to reduce the retirement age and there is no proposal in this regard at any level in the government. Singh blamed certain motivated elements for planting such misinformation in the media and attributing it to the government sources.
There has been no such move at all at any level in the government, nor was it ever contemplated. It has been reiterated time and again. I know how this motivated mischief comes up again and again. There is no move to reduce the retirement age of the government employees. On the contrary, the DOPT has walked an extra mile during these lockdown phases, even before the pre-lockdown phase. It was we who issued the directions or the guidelines for getting absolutely necessary staff to the offices.
And Indian Institute of Technologies and Indian Institute of Information Technologies will not increase tuition fee for 2020-21 due to the COVID-19 crisis. Announcing this, HRD Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank said that the decision has been taken in consultation with the Standing Committee of IIT Council and the directors of the institutions. It means that all 23 IITs will stick to their fee structure followed for both undergraduate and postgraduate courses in the 2019-2020 academic session. Also, the centrally funded IITs will not implement a standard 10% tuition fee hike for undergraduate courses. The HRD minister said he also requested the Indian Institutes of Information Technology that are run in the public-private partnership mode not to increase the tuition fee for the coming academic year for any of their courses. And as the world wades through the coronavirus crisis, the Department of Biotechnology under the Ministry of Science and Technology has emerged as the nodal point for all the science-based solutions that India is finalizing in its fight against COVID-19. Now, speaking exclusively to Rajya Sabha Television, Deputy Secretary Dr. Renu Swarup said that the department is supporting a number of research groups and startups for out-of-the-box solutions for the pandemic. Here is a report.
The Department of Biotechnology has received several project proposals under the COVID-19 Research Consortium. After a multi-tiered review process, funding has been approved for devices, diagnostics, vaccine candidates, therapeutics, and other interventions.
For the therapeutics, we are looking at different components of it. It's the drug repurposing, looking at antiviral drugs. We are looking at monoclonal antibodies, which is again a very important therapeutic that we look at. The plasma therapy, which you're talking about, there are groups who are looking at the plasma therapy. And another interesting component we're looking at, and that is the phytopharma components.
Dr. Swarup also said that indigenous startups are ready to manufacture and develop PCR kits and rapid antibody tests that will reduce dependency on imports and ensure self-reliance.
We are now at a position where we feel that very shortly we will be able to indigenously manufacture the kits for our own Indian population. We also have been able to look at different types of kits, whether it's the RT-PCR, whether it's the antibody kits, and research has already begun on the antigen-based kits as well.
India is also collaborating with the World Health Organization and a few other international agencies to accelerate technology transfer for developing a vaccine research. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Deaths due to novel coronavirus crossed 2 lakh worldwide on Monday. The number of confirmed COVID-19 cases, on the other hand, crossed the 3 million mark globally. Cases have been reported from more than 210 countries and territories worldwide. The United States has the highest number of deaths at 55,415. Italy, Spain, France and the UK have reported over 20,000 deaths each. Meanwhile, countries across the globe have started to ease their lockdowns and reopen their economies and social activities. On Sunday, Spanish children were allowed out of their homes for the first time in 6 weeks. Spain has been under nationwide lockdown since 14th of March due to the coronavirus pandemic. Adults were also allowed to accompany children, but with social distancing guidelines. The relaxation came a day Spain registered its lowest daily increase in the coronavirus death toll in over a month. The total number of deaths in the country stands at 23,190, while overall cases rose to 207,634 on Sunday. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson on Monday resumed work after a 3-week absence, during which he was treated for a severe case of COVID-19 infection. Johnson said the government will outline plans to ease the coronavirus lockdown in the coming days, but warned that difficult decisions will be required.
When we're sure that this first phase is over and that we're meeting our 5 tests, deaths falling, NHS protected, rate of infection down, really sorting out the challenges of testing and PPE, avoiding a second peak, then that will be the time to move on to the second phase, in which we continue to suppress the disease and keep the reproduction rate, the R rate, down, but begin gradually to refine the economic and social restrictions, and one by one to fire up the engines of this vast UK economy. And in that process, difficult judgments will be made.
Italian Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte on Sunday said starting 4th of May, parks and gardens will reopen. Funerals will be allowed and professional sports teams can resume training. Stores and museums will be allowed to reopen from 18th of May, while restaurants, cafes and salons will open on 1st of June. Italy was the first European country to be hit hard by the coronavirus and has been under lockdown since 9th of March. Other European nations have also eased lockdowns. Germany allowed non-essential shops and other facilities to open last week, while Denmark reopened schools for children up to 5th grade. New Zealand's cafes and restaurants reopened for takeaway meals on Monday for the first time in more than a month as the country started to ease its lockdown. In addition, around 4 lakh people will return to work on Tuesday, even as the country said it had slowed the spread of the coronavirus. Saudi Arabia on Sunday announced that the country will partially lift restrictions starting from 29th of April through 13th of May. Commercial and economic activities in wholesale and retail stores and shopping centers, construction companies and factories will be allowed to resume their activities from 29th of April. In China, all major construction projects have resumed work as authorities push to restart factory production and other economic activity. Children in Shanghai and Beijing resumed school on Monday after more than 3 months as schools were shut to contain the spread of the new coronavirus.
And with that, we wrap up this edition of News Tonight. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.